AI-generated videos of doctors and celebrities are being used to trick Australians into stopping their prescribed medications and paying large sums of money for unproven supplements instead. One of the doctors whose likeness is being used is our very own Dr. Norman Swan, who joins me now. Norman, welcome to 7:30.
Thank you, Sarah. It's a pleasure to be here tonight to talk about deepfake scams that are ripping off vulnerable patients. These scams are becoming incredibly convincing. So convincing, in fact, that you probably had trouble recognizing that that isn't me. You see, I have a problem. Fraudsters are increasingly using my image to sell unproven treatments and dodgy supplements online.
Just listen to what Dr. Norman Swan has to say.
We've developed a product that actually works. It restores your metabolism.
And with AI generative technology getting better and better by the day, these scams are harder and harder to detect.
Hello, Norman, is that you?
Ah, yes it is, David. Thanks very much for having us. A few months ago, David Bell read an article about diabetes, supposedly penned by me.
Being a diabetic, type 2, I thought this is interesting. I wonder what Norman's got to say about diabetes.
The article encouraged patients to swap metformin, a safe drug routinely prescribed for diabetes, with an unproven supplement called glycobalance.
It was so convincing. Everything about that promotion was so convincing. I stopped taking these pills, these Giardamed pills.
A few days later, David contacted the ABC to double-check that the advice was legitimate.
The ABC wrote back to me promptly and said, it's a scam.
A scandal's broken out online after a statement from well-known Dr. Jonathan Shaw. He called everyone treating type 2 diabetes with traditional methods idiots.
I'm not the only doctor spruiking this supposed new wonder supplement.
Let's hear what Dr. Shaw himself has to say about it.
Yeah, I did call those who still treat type 2 diabetes with metformin in 2024 idiots.
Leading diabetes researcher at the Baker Institute, Professor Jonathan Shaw, is also being used by scammers.
And its side effects can harm your body even more than the diabetes itself.
The very first indication that we had that this even existed was when we started at our clinic getting phone calls from people saying, where can I get this product? So very clearly this was well targeted on Facebook to people with diabetes.
Have you had any indication from patients that they've gone off metformin because of it?
I have heard of people who've come off their medication, who've stopped metformin.
And what's the risk attached to that?
Well, the risk is blood sugars rise and lead to heart disease, lead to kidney disease, eye problems, foot problems, etc. All the complications of diabetes, all the things that on the video I said somehow I was going to just magically fix.
A statement from well-known Dr. Jonathan Shaw.
It was this deepfake that caught up Janice Merrill.
And you'll be amazed at how simple, safe and fast it is.
The ad was $67 a bottle, buy 3, get 2 free. So I bought the 5 bottles, which was $204. But out of my bank was taken $339. And then I finally got it, and I'll show you what I got. I got this bottle here, and this is glycobalance 204 milligrams. But what they're advertising is 800 milligrams.
That launched weeks of frustration for Janice as she chased the company. But there was more.
When I was having a very heated discussion on the phone, they said, we've cancelled your reoccurring order. I said, I've never had a reoccurring. I ordered 5 bottles to test this. What people don't realise, depending what your order is, you're paying over $300 a month.
When you realised it was a scam, what was your reaction?
Well, I felt really shattered. It was horrible because I thought this was really real.
So just how easy is it to create one of these deep fakes? To find out, we've come to the University of New South Wales to speak with AI experts Sanjay Jha and Wenbing Wang.
I don't think it's that hard. You need a laptop, internet connection, access to some free or paid software. So it's not a capital-intensive business. Can you scroll down?
The University of New South Wales has developed its artificial intelligence model for education purposes. Today, Wenbin shows us how a scammer might abuse such technology. You asked us to do a video for you, so we recorded this piece to camera in the studio. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Well, I think the audience knows what comes after that, but what comes afterwards for you now, what do you do with this to turn this into a deep fake?
The first step is to clone your voice. Although this is 30 seconds, most of the time our system only need 5 or 3 seconds audio.
5 or 3 seconds of audio
is enough.
Just to sample, that's enough to clone my voice?
Yeah.
Jesus.
And the second step is to clone your appearance.
The AI software scans the video of me, frame by frame, mapping my face from different angles. Then it's time to add the text of what we want fake me to say.
Let's have a look of it.
Thank you, Sarah. It's a pleasure to be here tonight to talk about deepfake scams that are ripping off vulnerable patients. It doesn't take you much longer than it's taken us to have this conversation.
Yeah.
No wonder there are so many videos out there. It's so easy to do. There are at least 2 products that Fake Me is currently peddling. Glycobalance and another one called Keto Flow Plus ACV, which is supposedly for weight loss.
Honestly, we'd be naive to keep trusting outdated methods. Just listen to what Dr. Norman Swan has to say.
We've developed a new product that helps you safely and effectively lose weight by restoring your metabolism and speeding up fat burning.
The obvious question to ask is, who's behind all this? Well, it's actually quite hard to pin down the companies associated with these products. We have found 3 businesses with offices in Christchurch and Queensland with connections to a global company that appears to be based in the United States. We've emailed them and called them, but not got any answers.
One of the important things that's changed over the past couple of years is that these actors have industrialized.
Nathaniel Gleischer is Director of Security Policy and Global Head of Counter Fraud at Meta, which owns Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp.
We're talking about sophisticated operations working at industrial scale, often backed by criminal organizations, by organized crime, that are highly resourced, very adversarial, and are looking to target people wherever they can find them.
When you say adversarial, what do you actually mean?
What I mean is they're very quick to adjust their tactics to defeat any defenses you put in place. In the fourth quarter of 2024, we removed more than 1 billion fake accounts, and 99.7% of those we removed proactively before anyone noticed them.
This is Anthony Albanese.
At the scale at which Meta operates, that 0.3% means there are still a lot of scams online, and getting Meta to take them down can be difficult.
We put in multiple complaints, and over the next day or so, it had 0 effect. When we realized that, we put in a different complaint, and that complaint was about copyright and intellectual property. When we put that complaint in, it was taken down. So they couldn't care about the health side, it was the fact that they might be litigated for copyright breach. Correct. The untruth of it, the defaming nature of it, those sort of things didn't seem to have any impact.
Earlier this year, new legislation gave the ACCC power to impose multi-million-dollar fines if platforms fail to remove scam content.
We anticipate that social media, including Meta, will be one of the early designated sectors, and that will mean that there will be financial penalties to that sector if they do not fulfil or take reasonable steps to fulfil their obligations under that law.
Even so, we heard again and again that Meta's reporting system is poorly responsive.
Reporting these types of things is something we're working on improving. I would say a couple of things, though. One of the real challenges is that these scams abuse multiple systems. The scammer starts by creating a fake bank account to receive the money. They often need a warehouse to store the actual products that they might be shipping. They will move people to a website on the open internet, and then obviously they're using an instant payment system. And so to counter this, you really need each of these communities working together.
At the ACCC, some of this strategy seems to be working.
we have released a report that demonstrates over 25% decline in reported financial losses to scams during 2024. But with $2 billion lost, we evidently still have plenty of work to do.
So where does that leave the scammed, like David, and experts like Professor Shaw?
What happens as a result of this and other similar things is mistrust. So all sorts of useful things that I and other people might say about health will not be trusted.
I'm angry with myself for having fallen for it. You're a well-known figure in the health service. Why would I not believe you?